Bryan Hutchens, Hutchens, from Ardmore, Oklahoma, second generation. Used to run reefer in and out of California, currently run oil and gas field, primarily Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana.
And your mother was in the business, right?
She was. She started in about 1980, just before I was born, and she was actually in dispatch and operations, started her own company in the 90s, ran that up to 2012. Eventually, comes down the pipe with California pushing all their emissions regulations, and it gets to a point where it's not even worth it anymore to continue to run out there with all the regulations they're pushing through.
And this truck, you got it a few years ago?
Yeah, about three and a half years ago. It's a 1996 Peterbilt with a 3406 cat in it, and it's got a 18-speed and 370 rear ends in it. In-framed at 28,000 miles after I bought it. So, these motors are pretty simple compared to the newer motors, and that's what I wanted to go to because I grew up wrenching on these motors with my parents, obviously. Yeah. And so I know these motors extremely well. Wanted to get away from all the emissions and the problems that these guys deal with them. But yeah, we've in-framed the truck. We've put new chunks in both of the rear ends. The transmission's been rebuilt, new fuel tanks. You name it, this truck's pretty well been gone through. So we've done a lot of work on the interior. I custom built me a shelf in the back to keep my stuff because I have to have a printer for my oversized permits and stuff like that. So put a full-size refrigerator in there to make it a little more comfortable at home, to be like home, especially when you're out in West Texas and there's nowhere really, when you're 40 miles off the beaten path and there's nowhere to eat. It sure is nice to have food with you out there.
Yeah. Do you cook in the truck?
I don't cook in the truck. A lot of times I meal prep at home and then bring it with me.
Gotcha.
So I've got a microwave and a coffee pot and a printer in there, all run off an inverter. Well, a lot of these guys live on their truck for 21 days or more at a time. So for them, so the average truck stop, you go in and you eat a meal. If you eat a decent meal, it's going to be $15 to $20 minimum, no matter where you go. Yeah. When the markets get harder, a lot of people turn to trying to cut their biggest cost, and that's one of their biggest costs is to eat on the road. You figure if you eat breakfast and dinner at a truck stop every day, you figure $12 in the morning and $18 in the evening. You spent $30 a day, 7 days a week. That's $210 on the road. But other than that, we've gone through just most of the mechanical stuff on this truck has been gone through, which is the big thing. Yeah. And this was a Southern truck when I bought it, so it didn't have all the salt and the ice and the rust. And for being a 96, I don't think the frame has actually ever been repainted. It's still original and it's still clean. So this truck was actually hauled a oil tanker and a milk tanker out of down around Stephenville, Texas is what it hauled. The panels were there. I changed out all the lights on it.
Lights, okay.
Yeah, I actually had the same lights on my old truck, and added like all the watermelon lights everywhere. Kind of changed those up, more like the old school style on it. The bucket headlights I put on, the drop bumper I put on. The quilted tank guards and the fender guards gives it kind of more of that old school feel to it. I put those on. I enjoy more of the old school look than the new school look. So. I forgot to mention, I put a Brunner's headache rack on the back, which makes it convenient because I've got a lot more storage than a standard headache rack. Brunner's makes the best rack in the United States that I've found. All their stuff is top quality. These trucks take a beating out there. Those roads out there are kind of rough, and we do a lot of oversize. So this truck's actually got it's got a little over 600 tune in it. I don't know exactly what it is because it's an encrypted file, but whoever built the file did a good job on it because I average on an IFTA quarter between 6.8 and 7.1, and most guys are going to tell you that's not possible, but I do it every quarter. And a lot of stuff I pull is 12 wide and up to 14, 15 foot tall. A lot of oil field equipment, rig parts, refinery pieces, crane parts, anything that go on a step deck, generally is what I haul. Without truckers, this stuff doesn't get there. Without an end consumer, there's no need for truckers. Without a farmer, there's nothing to be hauled. So it's like the cycle of life. We all have a part to play in this, and people need to realize it takes all of us working together to actually make this nation function. You can't take out one part of it. If you take out one part of it, it's like a house of cards. You take one out and the whole thing falls down.